would you attempt to do if you knew you couldn't fail? I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Newsmakers. With me is Dr. Ayla Stanford Frey. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
You started an organization called It Takes Philly, and at the end of this program, you asked children, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? That's really the end result. But along the way, you're introducing them to potential careers and educational opportunities. Why did you start this organization?
Started it mainly because I wanted children to dream. I wanted to plant a seed so they could think about the possibilities of what they might do. Not what they just see in their communities or what they might see on their block, but other things that if they were exposed to it, they might actually believe that they can do it, which they can.
And you're working with schools throughout the city.
We're working with schools throughout the city. We essentially chose the schools that had the most challenges scholastically and academically, because unfortunately those are the children that are left behind or the expectations are not as high. So we wanted to pick those children where I think you can find a diamond in the rough and really expose them and give them the ability to think about, if they had a plan, what they could do with their lives and their future.
And really exposing them to, as you mentioned, potential career opportunities, helping them to set personal goals. You say to kids, you're responsible for your own personal success.
Right, and it also helps if they have someone that believes in them, that mirrors them, that has a similar background as them. And I'm from Philadelphia, born and raised, as the saying goes, with humble beginnings and meager means, and wanting to say to them, it doesn't take your parents having a six-figure salary for you to be successful. It takes you having belief in yourself and what your abilities are, and then we as professionals expose them to ideas and careers so they can actually see themselves in those positions.
And you're taking 8th graders on field trips.
Right, we're taking them on, and it's more, we expect more out of them than just a bus ride and a great lunch. And so one of the things, as professionals, we often go into the different schools and we put up a PowerPoint presentation and we say, this is how much schooling it takes and this is what I do. So instead, we wanted to bring them to the hospital. So I bring them to the hospital, I show them where I work, how I prepare a patient for surgery, and then also expose them to how much schooling it takes, what you need to be good in at 8th grade to get to that level, what you can do financially if you achieve these different goals, and what obstacles may stand in your way, and what obstacles can actually be steps up towards your success.
And you mentioned exposing children to the medical profession, but that's just one of the areas where you are helping kids to realize potential career paths. Correct.
So to my dismay, I realized, I shouldn't say dismay, but early, not every child wants to be a physician. So we expose them to careers in nutrition and in the legal profession. So the children have been to the Philadelphia Municipal Courts, they've been to the Daily News and to a newsroom, they've been on a career fair at the Wells Fargo and at the Link to learn about not just careers in basketball and football, but sales and entertainment and what people do in business and leadership in those organizations. Also, Washington, D.C. is the favorite trip for our students, where they can often go to the White House or to the Capitol building and learn about careers in government, and again, the steps, the building blocks that it takes to get to those different careers.
And just a few seconds left, but you have a pre-test and a post-test to assess the knowledge of each of these trips, and at the end, you ask children to write an essay. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail?
Right, because I want them to think outside of the boundaries that may be presented in their lives and say, if it wasn't about money, if it wasn't about anything, what would you do? And that's when you really get to the crux of what they want.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
We've been talking with Dr. Ayla Stanford Frey. I'm Jill Horner.